I appreciate it. So I was told to prepare a presentation about who, what, and why, and so here we go. Um, that's the agenda. Who am I? So proud to say that I'm an immigrant. Was born in St. Vincent in the British West Indies. And when I was 7 years old, I tell my family that they dragged me away from this beautiful island. But then they took me to St. Croix in the US Virgin Islands. So, hey, I can't complain about that. Grew up in St. Croix from age 7 until age 18. I remember it was September of '89, and I was a big man on campus, was enjoying my senior year, and Hurricane Hugo came through St. Croix and completely demolished the island. 250 miles per hour wind. In some neighborhoods, the highest structure still standing was a commode. So devastating. Had a sister living in St. Petersburg, Florida, so I moved there and finished high school. While I was in my senior year in St. Petersburg, this Marine Corps recruiter came walking by in his Marine Corps uniform, and I was done. I ran him down. He didn't have to recruit me. I was like, no, you're not going anywhere until I know how to get in. And so I spent 21 years in the Marine Corps.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. I started out as an enlisted guy, picked up for the officer session program, went to flight school, flew to CH-53 Echo for about 11 years in my career before I retired. I didn't mean to skip over the father. Have 5 wonderful kids. My oldest is 35, youngest is 17, going on 37. She's graduating from high school this year. Yes! And she just got accepted to LSU. Really super proud of her. Volleyball player, and we're going to see how that works out as far as her getting on getting in the volleyball program at LSU. But even if she doesn't, we're just really super proud of her and happy that she's finding her way in the world. Last thing up there is financial advisor, business owner. So as a financial advisor, you know, it's just another way for me to serve my community. There's a significant gap between people who are where they want to be financially and where they currently are. And there's some small things that they can do to get themselves to where they need to be, but part of it sometimes is a lack of knowledge, and that lack of knowledge is sometimes based in fear and also miseducation. So what I do for my clients is I help them clarify their financial goals. I have a mentor that says that being a financial advisor is not difficult, but it's hard, right? And he always uses Kobe Bryant as an example for that, right? So Kobe Bryant, everybody knows, was a phenomenal basketball player, right? But Kobe Bryant was always the one and only player in the gym at 4 a.m. in the morning working on the fundamentals. So somebody asked Kobe Bryant, dude, you're the best basketball player in the world. Why do you show up at 4 a.m. every morning to work on the fundamentals? You should, you don't need to do that. He goes, I'm the best basketball player in the world because I show up every morning at 4 a.m. to work on the fundamentals, right? So what we do isn't rocket science, but we're all subject to what we call behavioral finance, themes. We get to a certain point and we become afraid, and that fear causes us to make mistakes. So I help my clients clarify their goals and essentially shepherd them to stick to the goals that they have. We strategically grow their assets, and the same principles that you use to grow your assets will not work for you when you distribute those assets. I'll say that again. When you're accumulating assets, you're using a certain principle, you're in saving mode. I'm sorry, when you're accumulating, you're in growing mode, right? You want to take some risks, you want to grow your money. But when you get to your retirement age, right, all that money you've grown, everybody, the whole world has been telling you, save, 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 save. And you get to retirement, and now they're saying, spend, 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 spend. But there's some pitfalls. If you don't do it the right way, you can get killed with taxes. So I make sure that my clients get to distribute their money in a tax efficient way. Why do I do this? Because there's a need and because I have the passion, skill, propensity to do that. I say here that my guiding ethos for 21 years was honor, courage, commitment. That's what I bring to the program. My process is my superpower. That's what makes me different from all the other financial planners. I take the time to make sure I understand what your problem is, your current situation, your desired situation. What's keeping you from getting to your desired situation is the problem. I need to understand that and give you tools to fix it. Thank you very much.
So now let's open it up for questions. So who has a question for Mr. Joey here? Don't all jump at once, come on.
Sir.
So is there a formula that you use to help people understand who are approaching retirement age, like how much you would need to retire in order to retire? How much?
That's an amazing question, right? It's like the $1 million question, if you would. So our mission at J. Martin Financial Service is we educate, empower, and assist our clients to achieve financial freedom. To get to your question, it's not a number, it's the gap between what you're getting in benefits plus what you need to withdraw from what you have saved. So what do I mean by that? A lot of people focus on this number. I use this software called Retirement Analyzer. And so when you come to me, I sit down and look at all your assets. First, I have to coordinate how you're going to take that money out. We're going to maximize any benefit, any guaranteed income you have coming towards you. Everybody's saying, oh, Social Security is going away. Social Security is not going away. It's supposed to be in 2034. What's going on is how Social Security works is there are people paying into the system, right? And there are people over here waiting for a paycheck. As long as there are people over here paying into the system, there's going to be a paycheck for the people waiting for a check. What's going on is we had this big baby boom population retire, and for the first time in Social Security history, there's more people on this side waiting for a paycheck than there are people over here paying into the system, and it's going to get worse, right? So they're saying by the year 2034 that if you're entitled to Social Security, you're only going to get about 81% of what you're entitled to. But 81% is still amazing, right? Because the average Social Security check is about $2,071 a month. That's money that you didn't have before that's coming in. So if you need $5,000 to live on, now a lot of advisors says, well, your monthly expense is $5,000, so we have to figure out how much you need to amass and take out 4% so you don't deplete that. And if that doesn't match what you need, then you're in trouble. But wait a minute, let's subtract these benefits that you're entitled to first. And of course, we've got to add the taxes. So my short answer is we've got to figure out what that gap is that you need to take out of your whatever your nest egg is and base your plan on that and try to strategically minimize your tax exposures in doing so as well. Does that answer the question? Okay, all right. Anybody else?
So what as a business owner, so I know there's a lot of financial planners out there. So what kind of separates you as I know you mentioned a few things, but kind of what do you see as what separates you as a financial planner? Like why would somebody say, I'm gonna go to Joey instead of I'm going to Ann?
Yeah, so I tell people all the time that my process is my superpower, right? And so rhetorical question, what's bad investment advice? Bad investment advice, So every advisor has access to the same tools. IRA, 401k, annuities, life, and we all have access to those products. Where we go wrong, how we go wrong, is when a client comes to me, they are in a current state. Joey, I have this, I'm scared that I won't have enough to get here. So this is their desired state. I need to understand what the current state is, what the desired state is. And now what's keeping them from getting here is the challenges. And what bad advice is when an advisor doesn't understand the challenges and applies the wrong tool to the challenge, causing their clients excess money, causing their clients to pay excess taxes. So taking the time to understand what the challenge is, not just understanding the problem, but why the problem is a problem for your particular client. And I have turned clients away because they come to me and they're like, just fix me. No, I cannot work with you because I need you to participate in this plan that we're going to create for you. I need to ask you some questions so I understand what your problem is so I can fix that problem for you. Did I answer? Okay. All right.
And I have another one too, so.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, so this is just because I'm a little bit curious. You're clearly a very compelling speaker. So did you build that up throughout your time in the military, once you became a financial advisor? Like, where did you develop the skill set to be such a passionate and speaker to present?
well, my mom passed. my mom passed last April, and if I had a nickel for every time she like smacked me in the head and said, "Speak up," right? So that's where it started, and then in the Marine Corps we say we eat our own, right? And so I was a qualified co-pilot, helicopter aircraft commander, section leader, right? And so there's no room for lack of clarity when you're briefing a helicopter mission, right? I flew a helicopter that's 99 feet long. I am a barn in the sky that everybody wants to shoot at. And everybody in my team needs to know what needs to happen when bullets starts coming at us. So being clear, being concise was something that you have to learn in the military, especially the job that I did. So, thank you.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you practice now?
So my office is right next door.
Oh, where do you practice this?
Oh. So I have.
All of us get to brief helicopter.
So I joined an organization called Adult Financial Education Services. And so it's a community education outreach program, and 4 times a year for every quarter, I give a presentation. And in order to be affiliated with them, you have to videotape yourself giving their presentation, and they give you pointers, and then you correct yourself, and then they say, yep, you're good to go, you can go out and represent us. So that's my most recent practice. What's that?
I said, now he doesn't have to enlist.
Yeah, that's a hard way to go to learn how to.
There is Toastmasters also, I know that helps with public speaking also.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask you, so since I know you were at an event from Carolina Innovation Hub yesterday, and we were talking about hiring, and then he left the room saying he was now scared to hire. So my question to you as a business owner is, okay, so I know you were looking to build your team, so what are you still needing, or what is still your challenge? I know it scared you a little bit yesterday,
Yeah.
and all of that, but tell us kind of what you're thinking through and what you need and how you're gonna overcome that.
So I understand this concept of recency bias, right? And recency bias is like if you stick your hand on a stove, the next time you see a stove, you cower, right? And so I started my business in Atlanta, and in 2019 got divorced. My daughter was living out here different mom. So I decided, hey, let me pack up the business and move to Houston. And so that was late 2019. So I got here and got an office, was in the process of hiring a staff, signed a long-term lease, and what happened in February of 2020? COVID. And of course, the landlord wouldn't let me out of the lease. I ended up having to pay my way. Not them, not them, not them, not them, not them,
30 days notice.
not them. So had to pay myself out of the lease, COVID prolonged. And I just got to a place where I was like, what's going on? And I've got to be honest with you. I considered, shuttering the business. And then a mentor of mine says, dude, you still have clients who believe in you. You're still making money. You're just feeling sorry for yourself. There are people who've lost everything during COVID. Wah, right? That's how we talk to each other. And so I'm like, you're right. So I decided to get back on the horse, get back out here, and started working at it again. So now, what do I need? We're a highly regulated industry. Every conversation has to be documented. I was telling Cadence, is it? Caduce. I was telling Caduce that one thing I've learned, we do a lot of studies in simplicity, and one of the studies that we just got that says that client retention, you're more vulnerable to lose a client if you fail to send them a birthday card on their birthday than if you mess up their investments. I'm like, what? They're like, that's what the data shows. And then I think it was David, where are you? David was like, well, I manage my own money, but if you were my advisor and you didn't send me a birthday card on my birthday, I might let you go too. And I'm like, it's real. So what I need is, and I think I found her, is somebody with the right personality who, while I'm focusing on managing my client's money, can focus on the client relationship. Remembering their birthday, remembering their anniversary, forcing me to say, Joey, it's time to do a customer appreciation event. So we
Kids going to college is a difference.
yes, remembering that kind of stuff. Like, look how excited I was when
Life changing. I mean, we're about to be empty nesters, and if our financial advisor doesn't say, hey, what are you going to do with all your money now that the kids are gone?
Yeah.
Or
How you gonna pay for college?
Yeah, or how are you going to pay for college and all that. It's a big part of it.
It is.
Well, for when you first come to me, if you have kids, I'm already like pinging you on, hey, what are you doing for college? But yes, recognizing. But as a business owner, I don't know if I'm just speaking for myself. We can get so bogged down with the day-to-day of managing the business that sometimes we forget to pick our heads up and say, hey, you know what, John, Sally, hey, 35 years, wow, that's amazing. And that makes a difference. That's the stuff that makes the difference. So,
Save more for the 529 than you think you need.
say that again?
I said save more for the
529, yep.
than you think you need,
Yeah.
because we're here.
Hey, listen, I tell people this story all the time. Caribbean parents are a different breed, right? So I remember my senior year, the very start of my senior year, my mom said to me, hey son, I just want you to know that when you graduate, you have to change your address. And I'm like, excuse me? She's like, yeah, I love you, but you don't live here anymore after you graduate. I'm like, oh, okay.
High school or college?
High school. High school.
Just for the record, some white parents are that way too.
My sister. Right? And so,
They heard it from birth.
I told them since they were little that there's a countdown timer on the fridge.
yeah,
Yeah.
When it turns 18, you're
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Don't listen to dad, it's not great.
You have a one-way sign? But you know what? I honestly believe. So I'm gracious, right? My 22, my only son, he shares my name. And you know, I'm telling his business that I just noticed that you're recording. He flunked out of college, right? And he was feeling sorry for himself. And so I flew to Savannah. His grandmother called me and says, "Hey, you need to come talk to him." So I flew to Savannah, and I said, "Son, what's going on?" So I told him the Colin Powell story. Everybody know who Colin Powell is? You know, Colin Powell was a D student, but excelled in ROTC. And once he got into the Army, he just became a different person, right? So I told my son, I says, you just need to find your passion. You need to find what you're excited. Everybody wasn't meant to go to college. And so stop feeling sorry for yourself. It happened. Get up, shake yourself off, and find the other direction where you want to go.
Awesome. That's a great way to end that. We have one more for you. So how can we, as a community, help you?
Yes. So introducing me to what I consider my ideal clients, right? If there's an individual that's going to come to me and they just want to go, Joey, just help me. No, I need people who are engaged and really want to work at understanding or changing their financial situation so that they could be financially free.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you get swag when you present.
Oh,
You get swag.
thank you.
Good motivation. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.